The Mefarshei Rashi provide us with two options, both of which the Sikha maintains are inadequate. The first comes from the Siftei Chachamim, who redefines a crucial and critical term that Rashi uses. It is on account of this redefinition that the Rebbe maintains that his defense of Rashi's position is deemed unacceptable. The Siftei Chachamim defines the term Shimshu as describing a situation whereby the Mazalot, the heavenly bodies within our galaxy and beyond, the sun, the earth, the stars, the planets, stopped dead in their tracks. There was no movement, rotation, as in the case of the earth, to create day and night, in addition to the lack of movement of the respective planets along their orbits. Closer to home, the earth stopped rotating, and for the time period of the Mabul, one half of the planet was plunged into total darkness, while the other half functioned in a 24-hour period of daylight. Fortunately, Noach was in the daylight zone, and therefore was able to make use of the Tzohar, the Chalon. Not good enough, says the Sikha, as this would require us to maintain that Rashi wrote one thing and meant something very different. The term Lo Shimshu HaMazalot, when read into the context of the Pasuk that states Yom V'Layla Lo Yishbotu, needs to be taken at face value, that during the Mabul, ostensibly there was a cessation of day and night, which was rectified by HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he asserts, following the Mabul, Yom V'Layla Lo Yishbotu. Whatever happened during the Mabul period will not happen ever again. According to the Siftei Chachamim, however, the earth did experience day and night, depending on which half of the earth was facing the sun. This, the Sikha argues, goes against Rashi's style throughout the Chumash of presenting information in a signon barur, with clarity and without ambiguity. A second option, and one that does not rely on reinterpreting the terminology used by Rashi, is to limit the scope with respect to the time period in which Lo Shimshu HaMazalot. The intensity of the Mabul in actuality lasted for 40 days. One could argue that when Rashi writes Kol Yemot HaMabul, that the Mazalot did not function throughout the period of the Mabul, Rashi is referring to the first 40 days of the 365 days in which Noach was in the Teva. Textual support for this position can be found in the Pasuk Yuzayin, where it states Vayihi HaMabul Arba'im Yom Al Haaretz, that for 40 days there was the Mabul upon the earth. And following this initial 40-day period of rain, Mabul, things gradually returned to normal. The Mazalot functioned, there was sunlight, and hence illumination for those inside the Teva. In this way, we can adequately respond to the four questions raised by the Mizrahi, that by the time the birds flew from the Teva, things had pretty much returned to normal. There was a use for the making of a Tzohar, the Chalon, for illumination during the period after the 40 days. This approach is certainly better than the first option. However, the question still remains as to what was done for the first 40 days with respect to providing illumination for those inside the Teva, which was a period of Lo Shimshu HaMazalot, no sun, no light.